talk from Texas. It's the Revved Up Sports Show. Here's Bobby Chappie and Rodney Rodriguez.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to a post NASCAR COTA weekend for your boys here at the Revved Up Sports Show. Showtime Bobby Chappie right here. The Iceman, Rodney Rodriguez. That's this man right back over here.
Hi, friends.
We are indeed coming off of a wonderful race weekend with our friends and colleagues up at the NASCAR COTA there at Circuit of the Americas.
Hopefully y'all missed us last week. We were off last week because we had things to do. Lots of things going on, but we're back here with another locked and loaded program as we get ready for hashtag Real Race Talk. Lots of good stuff happening as we dive in. Kaden Honeycutt's going to join us here at probably in about 12 minutes as we will discuss with him what a great run for him. He and Corey Roper able to put a good run together. It sure was good to see them be able to pull that off, dude. I was very happy for those guys. Yeah,
it was good to see all the work paying off. I mean, obviously they've had some mechanical gremlins. Didn't have the best of luck there at Daytona either, and unfortunately missed the show. But as far as being competitive, I think he could have had an even better finish had he not had the little bit of contact from Haley Deegan there midway through the race. You know, she had a rough race. Dear God, she hit everything but the pace car.
Damn near everything. That was a rough go for her. And also a very good run for our man Logan Bearden, who driving in the AM Racing number 22. And that's the whole thing. You know, folks can hate on the NASCAR all they want, but when we have our guys out there, when we have our Texans racing, that's a cool thing because I would think that most people do aspire to be some form of a NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula One racer. I mean, there is certainly nothing wrong with what we do, you know, here on the local side and all of that. And you hit a certain point and that's very good as well. But when you hit one of the upper echelons right there, in my opinion, that is something very cool. And we had a couple of guys right there doing it in great fashion. Logan, I think, wound up 22nd. He as well running right there in the top 14 or top 15 throughout the day. Got into a mess right there, battled his way back, and did a great job. I mean, good for those guys. I mean, I was so excited to see them, and a lot of local flair to this because they had a lot of local support out there, and that's really cool on a big stage like that.
I think so. I mean, I really do. I think that there was a lot of buzz. The local, the At the Track team, I thought did a really good job of mentioning the local guys.
Yep.
When they mentioned Logan Bearden when he was up running in the top 10, they mentioned a couple of times that he is a local guy from Leander, Texas, 30, 45 minutes away, making his second Truck Series start. So I think that those guys did good. It was probably missed a little bit on the national broadcast, I felt, but at the same time, there's only so many TV spots you can put on a race, and we get that, and we understand some of the complaints about that, but that just is what it is. I mean, you got to run a certain part. Kaden on national TV, there was a lot of discussion about Kaden Honeycutt there on national TV, so that was a good one. Not so much for Logan, but yeah, definitely Kaden got a lot of national TV attention.
Yeah, checking in right there on the Facebook feed, and when we talk about guys doing a great thing on a national scale right there, Sugar Sean Folsom, really cool to see that dude out there wearing the vest and doing great work out there. And it doesn't matter. I mean, when it comes to motorsports, anything that you get to do on a national or regional, front right there. We've watched Sean, out there, doing picks for a long time and racing in the Grand Stocks and all of that. He gets to jump out there and he's living the dream right now, and it's one of the things there with Sean. We talked to Jacqueline with us on Sunday, and she talked about how she was a racer and she found her niche right there with what she's doing right now. Sean's the same thing. I mean, Sean's getting to do some really cool stuff, in my opinion. I mean that Sean has found what he is programmed to do, what he is meant to do, and he's doing us all proud, man. That is so cool to see that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun working with Sean. A lot of the promo pictures there for the race winners was definitely pictures directly from Sean. And Sean's just not a good guy. I did tell him that if something is to ever happen to me and I'm no longer part of this world, that my better half has instructions to get with him on what to do with all my old die-cast and action figure collection.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that she's supposed to marry him or something.
Oh, no. We're not. We're close, but we ain't close like that.
I was like, man, what in the hell? Did we go to a Lifetime movie here or something? No, I mean, that's great. I mean, and for him, I mean, it really is cool that he gets to do that, and that's and good for him. I mean, he's worked his ass off, and there's nothing wrong with living that dream the way he's doing it. So great job, Sean. Yeah. See the post right there about Logan. Yeah, that did happen. That was ironic timing when that happened. But the good thing is that they get that love and they get that TV time. And the whole thing is, when it comes to network TV like that, if they're talking about you, you're doing something right. Either you're doing something right or something really wrong. And when they talked about both of our guys, when they talked about Kaden and about Logan, they were doing the right things, and that's really good. So really proud of those guys. Kaden coming up here in just a couple of minutes. We'll talk with him as he gets ready to head to Texas Motor Speedway. And, of course, there are things in between the race at COTA and Texas Motor Speedway. Jeff Shepperd will join us as well a little bit later on as he is coming off a big win at Castaneda. We'll talk with him. And then later on, we got a Revved Up Virgin.
Oh, we got one of those? It had been a long time since we had one of those.
Yeah, Mason Castaneda coming off of a big win at the South Texas Race Ranch. Let's lead into that. Let's lead into the hot topic, the whole shot, the whatever we want to call it. Owen Pittman laying down the gauntlet, and I think there needs to be more of that. He's saying factory stock number 139, you're doing something wrong, my friend. You are banned for 2 races. You need to pay $200. That's going straight into the 741. That right there. Owen does a lot of things right, and Owen himself will say that there are things that he does wrong as well. But I can tell you one thing: when Owen doing this, I think is something else. A lot of people see things that Owen does at his racetracks, and they duplicate that. And I will say that this is something that needs to be duplicated right here, because when we talk about NASCAR and people getting fined and all this, that, and the other, $200, it doesn't seem like a lot, but to a local racer it does. And I love what Owen said when he said, if the racer chooses to pay it, because you know how it works in short track racing, this guy may never come back. He may not even race there. He'll go race somewhere else. But that right there is putting the foot down early in the year. That kind of bullshit ain't going to be tolerated, and I applaud, and I'm going to ring the hell out of the bell right there, because that needs to happen a bunch.
Well, I mean, I think that it had mixed emotions. There were definitely opinions on both sides of that deal about whether or not they should have done it, whether or not they ended up having it online. Multiple ways to hit that, and I think that Owen probably did it the right way. Because at the very end of it, it was signed, it was out of the Facebook page for the race ranch.
Yep.
But at the very end of it, it was signed Owen Pittman with his phone number. Says, if you got a question, pick up the phone and call me. And I think that's the best way to handle it. We've often said on the show, and it goes unheard a lot of times, that if you have a question with a promoter or have an issue with a promoter, pick up the damn phone. And more than likely, they will be the ones that will answer it, and you'll be in a better position the next time you go to talk about somebody. And
I think the most powerful part of that is looking at the comments there. It's not a lot of comments, which is usually the one thing that you get when something happens right there. I mean, even with the NASCAR stuff, something happens, boom, here's all this thread of whatever. But I really like what he did, what you're talking about right there with that 361 area code phone number. It's right there, no questions asked. Reach out, get your answer, and don't be posting right here. And I know that's something that Owen feels very strongly about, is the whole, let's quit beating the racetracks up and the keyboard warriors and everything that Mike Joy's talking about, because that's really the easiest place for folks to just jump on there. And everybody has that opinion, and I'm sure that even with the incident that happened the other night, and I wasn't able to find it. I was kind of going back through some of the footage, and you guys will have to fill us in on what was going on. But I think the bigger part of it was with the damage happening to the other race car was the aftermath, speeding through the pits and all of that. because here's the one thing, and I saw it at Extreme at COTA this past weekend. I see it at short tracks all the time. When people are speeding through the pits, people in there are not paying attention. I mean, people in the pits,
they're on their phones.
They have their head up their ass.
Yeah.
That is the only way to put it. And I'm putting that nicely. The last thing that they are thinking about is a car coming at them. I mean, seriously, dude, I was standing on pit road at COTA. Jimmy Johnson is coming down pit road, and there's some yahoo over there on his phone, older guy that can't move very quick in the first place, for crying out loud. He's sitting there. Jimmy Johnson rolls up on this guy. Jimmy Johnson slams the brakes. And I'm standing by one of the security guys, and he goes, look at this jackass on his phone.
And it should have been the security guy paying more attention to keep the jackass from getting run over.
Well, there were people down there. There were people down there, but there's a guy over there trying to get a selfie of whoever the hell standing over on the other side. And Jimmy Johnson saved the day because he didn't run the dude over. And I'm like, if that had been Joey Logano, he'd have just run him over.
Well, I mean, it was only one lap. Well, just saying, it could have been a lot worse.
But it was practice. You're talking about practice. But the whole thing is, you see that at short tracks. I mean, you have folks, the last thing that they're concerned about is the environment and everything happening around them. And when you get a hothead rolling through there, and I'm not pointing out this particular driver, but when you get guys that are all pissed off, I know the emotions. I've been there. I mean, you're irritated. You're pissed off at somebody. You're trying to get back, whatever the case may be. But when you have all of that happening, and it's why they tell you, and with Owens racetracks, they are very precise when they put out their pre-meeting rules. I mean, it's all right there. Do not speed in the pits. Do not do this. And for that to happen, and I'm serious, for Owen to go in there and do this, that right there is a precedent that I hope a lot of short tracks, if you want to duplicate something, duplicate that, because that's something. Somebody gets hit, you're done. You are done.
The track is done. The track is done
right,
on that deal.
You are a lost speedway like all the other ones that we sit here and cry and moan and miss. When just one time, ain't even got to kill him. You hurt him. He trips and falls. You're done. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Race Ranch is done. Doesn't matter who bought it. Doesn't matter what they want. It just takes one incident like that, and that's all she wrote. The fat lady sings, or the larger lady sings.
I think you can still actually say fat lady.
Oh, it's a saying.
It's a saying. I mean, you can still get away with, now you're calling her the obese woman.
Dude.
You're just saying the fat lady like that.
Way back when I was, much younger lad, when I was coaching Little League, I think I was probably in my mid-20s, just kind of, I wanted to be a coach, and so I was coaching Little League back in Caldwell County, and we had a really good baseball team, and we had all
the coach.
No, yeah, probably, like Rodney Rodriguez, Terry. We had a dude on our team. He was like the best pitcher of them all. I mean, it was minor league, I guess it was 9 and 10-year-olds, and his mom was a larger woman. Larger in stature, whatever you want to say.
Circumference.
Yeah. Mass. She would always. It was kind of a running joke. I could never get away with it now. But we'd be ahead by 9 or 10 runs or whatever the case may be, and I'd be sitting over on first base, coaching first base, and we'd get to the end of the 6th inning, whatever it was, about done. Yeah. And I would point to her in the stands, and she would go, ah, and I would tell our kids, the fat lady has sung. It's over, man. It's over. Done. Can't do that no more. The good old days. Anyway, but you get our point. I applaud him for that. That's something that I really would do that, dude.
I have no doubt. I mean, it's not that you're an overly offensive person. You could, especially in Caldwell County. I mean, it probably would have been more than one fat lady in the grandstand singing.
Yeah, we had our fair share of larger circumference moms back in those days. But really good team though. Really good team. We did some really cool things. But the bottom line is, I applaud Owen for what he's doing right there. That stuff, we need to see more of that, because that's something that needs to be under control. I truly believe that needs to be under control. There's really no room for that stuff.
It's better to lose one car on a Facebook post than it is to lose 5 good cars that are tired of getting their shit tore up.
That's right. That's right. Let's go to the hotline. We are diving in right here. We were just talking about him coming off of the weekend at COTA, talking about all of our local guys that were out there making us proud. And this dude right here, as I have said on national shows time after time, this is a guy, the talent. I mean, he will drive anything. You put him in a stagecoach, he's going to put it at the front of a car race, full of V8s, because he really is that good. Let's dive in, and we are talking to a man coming off of the top 15 finish at Circuit of the Americas for Roper Racing. It is our man, Kaden Honeycutt. Kaden, how you doing, sir?
Good, man, Roddy. How about you?
I'm doing well, dude. I got to tell you, man, it was so exciting when I see you in the pits after the race right there, dude. You were so pumped, man. It was I could see the excitement of what you pulled off right there. Has that kind of wore off yet, or have you brought yourself back down from all of that?
Well, yeah, I have. It's moving on to the next week, right? So going on to another big race for me over at Texas Motor Speedway, a track that I've been going to since I've been very, very small.
Yeah.
A lot of history I've had there, and I'm very, very excited for this weekend. And I feel like we'll have a really good truck. We've been working on the same truck for the past 2 races, going to Vegas and Atlanta. Obviously showed the speed it had at Atlanta with the new pavement. So I'm very excited to bring that truck in. That's some success here this weekend again.
Love it.
So when you went into Circuit of the Americas, obviously you've got a hometown feel behind you and all of that. So obviously the top 15 finish was fantastic. Did that fit your goal for what you wanted for this weekend? Or was it a good solid top 15 finish you wanted, or did you want a top 10? I mean, tell us about your mindset going into COTA.
Well, I set the expectation really high for myself. So I really did want a top 15. I felt like that was pretty respectable. I never have touched a road course in my entire life, so that was like really, really difficult to do, I think. But no, we exceeded it, and we did very well. We actually had a spring come out of the coil like very early in the race, so we were having to deal with the high front end, and we were able to manage it really well, and we were able to have good enough pace to run top 15, get some stage points as well with that, even after having contact in the second last corner, was able to keep it going and still finish 8th in a stage. So had a really good day going, and we capitalized on when we were supposed to, stay clean, didn't get spun out or anything like that, and avoided all the turn 1 chaos. So we were able to pull out a 15th place finish, help us out in points, and we'll move on to Texas this weekend, and a lot of momentum on our side, and that's what it takes to be successful, is to keep it rolling forward.
No doubt. Kaden, how hard is it to wrestle that thing around COTA? I mean, I think a lot of folks, they think of Circuit of the Americas, they think Formula One, they think, whatever the case may be. But, I mean, these trucks, not the easiest to drive. I mean, they're not designed to do what you guys are doing with them. Kind of walk us through that race course. I mean, between the elevation changes, we talk about that all the time. You got some blind corners. The passing zones are pretty cool and all that stuff. But, man, it's got to be a bear to drive these badass trucks around that 3.41 mile place.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it. I will say for sure. I think it took into the driver's hands a little bit for the first part of the sectors. The back end of the course, it takes mostly a good setup to be able to wrestle around, have really good turn. That's something that we didn't have, that I felt like I was better than the first part of the course, was having really good S's and sharp turning points. But that I threw myself around for a lot of the race. So definitely a physical race. I will say that is a very, very tough race. I underprepared for that, and going back looking at it, I know exactly how to prepare my body and myself to not have myself in that position by the end of the race. That's a tough race, man, and I've thoroughly enjoyed every second of it, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again in the future. So I liked it. It was very physical, and I think that's what makes COTA such a different track than most road courses. So
no doubt.
I liked it, and NASCAR definitely made a good choice by going there. It brought a lot of attention, and it's definitely it's definitely a track that you got to be on your game every step of the way. So you don't have much time to just sit there and relax.
That's right.
So, Coda, as you said, it's its own animal. Now you get to go to home, right? You're going to get to sleep in your own bed next weekend. You're going to get to see lots of friends, lots of family again. It's just like a normal Saturday night race, right? No pressure, no fact you're running around the big track in a Craftsman Truck Series truck. I mean, it's just a normal race for you coming up this weekend, right?
Right. Yeah. I like to say that, but it's. But no, I really am I really am excited. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, no matter what it could probably be in. So I'm going to use that fuel of excitement and try to turn it into success and try to bring out a really good finish. I'll try even go into a top 10 finish. I think that would be pretty respectable for our case. So I think we can do it, and we're just going to go through practice in the morning on Saturday morning and see what we got right off the bat and see if we got something to contend with. So, like I said, I'm really excited. Haven't been there, never turned a lap there. So we'll Saturday morning on race day will be it. So I know a lot of those guys have had laps there. They've had races there. So it'll be difficult. It'll be a challenge, but we can always rise to the occasion. We always find a way to. So I'm not worried about that. And, we'll keep moving.
That's right.
So you're an iRacing guy, though. I mean, is there a truck simulator for that? I mean, for you to get some extra laps there on iRacing? Or, I mean, I know you still do the Cup stuff with the Coca-Cola series, but, I mean, can you get extra laps and track time there on a simulator like iRacing?
Yeah, we definitely can. Unfortunately, I don't have my sim with me, so all my stuff's back in North Carolina. But, I've done plenty of track time at Texas on the competitive side of the oval, so I think I'll know what to do and know what to expect and how to approach turn one on lap one. So I think it'll be all right. I just got to feel it out right away and see what I can come up with and give feedback and try to improve all through the 20 minutes of practice we got and have a good race truck for when it's time to go.
That's right. Kaden, talk about Corey and the the CarQuest folks, Advanced Auto Parts. I mean, this deal coming together for you guys, and like you mentioned, I mean, it hasn't been easy. I mean, there's been some hiccups along the way, but I mean, it really is. I mean, this is a group effort, a bunch of just good people. It very much a home state effort of folks trying to make something happen, and it has to be. This has to be something looking, after Coda to where you accomplished a hell of a lot here for all of you, and it was so cool when I was down there talking to you. I'm looking and Corey's over there replacing tires so the truck can go back into the hauler. I mean, this really is just a bunch of good dudes doing something on a big stage.
Yeah, man. But CarQuest, without those guys, CarQuest and Advanced Auto Parts, we wouldn't be hitting the racetrack. So we appreciate them very dearly, them and Ford as well, for helping us out with information that we need. I can perfectly get in the truck anytime that Corey wants to, and he chooses whether I can race it or not race it. So
that's right.
To even be able to be in his truck while he can still be there and race, I appreciate the heck out of that, and no one really understands the appreciation I have for that.
That's right.
So they've busted their tails. Craig, Chris, Nick, and Bruce Cook has been a big factor of our performance. So it's all thanks to them for the effort they put into every day and put those trucks together and make them as fast as they do. So the constant effort keeps going in each and every week. So hopefully we'll get something rolling and be able to run for, it's late. We're a little behind, but I don't see why we can't just improve and see if we can, make a run at it for the playoffs. So we'll just have to see what is to come after this weekend.
That's right.
So you mentioned the support from Ford. Obviously, the Ford Truck Series programs are kind of unique, right? Where they have waited to the last minute to get ThorSport to kind of come back over to the Blue Oval. What kind of support are you getting from the Blue Oval on that deal? I mean, is it may not be sim time because we just talked about sim time, but is a little extra engineering help here and there, maybe some setup notes? What are you guys getting from Ford Factory?
Well, we mostly just get pictures of what the truck looks like on track compared to everybody else, and then we get some tire data. But that's really about it. Everything else is on our own. So we've been doing very well with little little information that we're given, and we're pretty much striving through that. So we're each and every week we've been improving, like I said. So we'll see how much improvement we've been having on this truck to take it to Texas and do very well with it. So we'll just see what happens.
And I know you well enough to know that obviously being back home in Texas, there's lots of opportunities before TMS, before that truck race on Saturday. What do you have lined up for the week? You hopping back in that late model? What are you doing? You're hitting the old Waco and doing that fun stuff?
I sure am. I will be at Waco in my great late model, my Longhorn number 10 Speed Ranch car. So bringing that out, bringing the cobwebs, checking the cobwebs off that thing since I haven't raced it since September. But I always enjoy racing my car, my late model there, and Waco in general. So we'll have some fun with that before we go. Try to knock off a win and see if we can already get the ball rolling in the line that it needs to be rolling.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so we had a couple of questions pop up on the little chat here because you've been on the show, know how this kind of works. So racers have a tendency to talk after an incident on a racetrack. You ran into a little incident with another driver that may have hit more than one thing on Saturday. Have you had an opportunity to speak with that one driver about the little on-track incident there?
Yeah, I did. Actually did yesterday. And we were fine. I told her it was a total racing incident. I knew she probably didn't have the best entry, and I knew it wasn't intentional. So I knew she wouldn't just go in there and wreck me, and especially after I didn't touch her the rest of the course. So we're good. I told her that it happens. I understand. Just thankful we were able to go on the rest of the race, and we were able to overcome and be able to come with the finish that we did. So. Yeah, it was all good. We're good, and we're gonna keep rolling on to Texas for this weekend.
Love that. Forget all about that stuff and just move on. That's really cool. Caden, man, great run. You had the Texans all fired up over here, man. You and Logan. I mean, Logan with a great run there as well. But both of you guys sitting right there, and even all the Texans that don't watch NASCAR were sitting there watching you guys. So you were doing something right there. So really cool stuff. Looking forward to you with the homecoming. Really cool to see you after the race, dude, and so proud of what you're doing, man. Go out there to TMS and do it to it, my friend.
Yeah, I sure will, man. Thank you for letting me have it on, and enjoy the rest of the show, guys.
You bet, man. Thanks,
care. Man.
You
Good
bet.
luck.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you.
You got it. There he goes, Kaden Honeycutt. And I did. I walked up to him, and it was really cool. The cool part for me was he was talking to all these people, and I come walking up. He's like, "Hey, Rodney." I'm like,
you got lucky. Every time I went over there to try to say hello, they were locked in the holler working on setup stuff.
I'm like, "Get out of the way. Here I come."
Yeah, every time I went over to say hi to Corey, I couldn't see Corey. I didn't see Kaden. I was a little disappointed that I missed out. But you obviously got the hookup.
Well,
on more than one occasion this weekend.
Well, and the whole thing was what I really, I mean, and the bottom line is seriously, Kaden Honeycutt. I mean, it really is, and I, there's so many, there are great drivers around the country and guys that do. I mean, I see them everywhere, and to me, Kaden is. I mean, I'm taking the homerism out of all of this. I mean, just with everything that we see when he jumps in a dirt car, when he jumps in a pro late model, when he's run the super, when he's run the pro, it doesn't matter what he's doing. And now with the late model, I mean, he's going to go to Waco and he's probably going to win. And it's one of those things where I wish he could do the double, with CBS, but I totally get that. Probably a better thing for him.
Probably got something more important to do on Saturday
to go run the trucks. But the talent right there with him is... I mean,
assuming there's more than 7, but...
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm sure there will be. At Waco, there will be. I'm sure there will be. But it really is just a case to where that everything is right there, and I do put a lot of hope and faith in the fact that as young as he is, I think more often than not, I forget how young he is because you listen to him right there. He sounds like a seasoned mid-20s. You're talking to Casey Roderick and Bubba Pollard and all the guys and the guys from the past tour that we talk to all the time. He sounds as mature as they do, and he is as mature as they are, but just at a much younger age because he works on the cars and trucks and does all of this. And I just think that man, the sky's the limit for this dude. I just hope that somebody is able to latch on to him. I mean, he and Bailey as well. I mean, Bailey Curry. I mean, that's another one of our guys. You put him, he does really well in equipment that is not
up to caliber of the standards,
not even
the high-end
mediocre
yeah.
at times. And he's able to do really cool things. I just think that all of that is there for him, and I think with Honeycutt, man, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. People are noticing this guy around the country.
I think so. I mean, he has a lot of the qualities that we look for when we talk to different high-end car owners. He wins in everything that he gets in. He also wins and doesn't tear up a lot of stuff. You know, he does everything that you're supposed to do, win in everything that you're in, and doesn't tear up a lot of stuff. That's the two things that all the owners we talk to look for in younger talent. Right now, it's just, what is it? The preparation is opportunity meets a little bit of luck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all he needs. He's got the opportunity with this Roper deal. Now he just needs just a little bit of luck to go his way, have another top 15, top 10 finish there at TMS. And that, I mean, you know, we need to get him to send some stuff over, start sending some stuff over to Jamie Little. Because I bet she'll be calling the race because the Xfinity cars are going to be over there at Richmond.
Yeah. Yeah.
So kind of send some stuff over to Jamie Little. If you're still listening, Kaden, that's the best thing to do. Find her on Twitter. Find her email. Send her your bio.
At Jamie Little TV.
Yeah. Send her something ahead of time so she'll be sure to talk about you when you get there.
Yeah. We see our friends jumping in right there from the Texas Dirt Truck Series, race number 1 for them over at I-37 Speedway. Man, there's a lot of racing going on. There's a lot of racing going on this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It was
a lot.
Really a great weekend for those folks. Jared Maupin wins in the Texas Dirt Truck Series.
Wouldn't that be a race? See Kaden and Jared in trucks?
Oh, my goodness. That would be so great. And now they're talking about when I win my truck coming up in the raffle. I mean, imagine the three of us. They would beat my ass so bad.
Oh, come on now. Third place is still a good finish.
That's right. 3 out of 3 wouldn't be so bad. Speaking of all the racing going on, I'm going to lecture you people, you racetracks, and give a shout out as well to our man Phil Whipple. You know, Whipple Motorsports Media does lots of cool stuff with our partners at Race on Texas with all the great stuff that he does. I've got this great sheet right here of race results from around the state this past week, and you got Abilene, you got CBS, Devil's Bowl, I-37, Kennedale, South Texas, and 105. All of that right here, compiled by Phil Whipple. And and this goes back to, Bobby, we talk about it all the time, revvedupsportshow@gmail.com. For us to read these off, it shouldn't be up to Phil Whipple to give this to us. Right? I mean, we do it for free. And I mean, we got thousands of people to watch this show for whatever reason. And, you know,
thousands of watchers, thousands of listeners. I mean, it's a good way to reach it's a very affordable way to reach a massive amount of audience by just sending us race results.
And that's all you got to do. Or send us a highlight. I mean, granted, you know, we go back and we watch throughout the weekend, you know, going back, trying to find highlights of everything that happened. And you know, my wife is always like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm watching the races. I'm working, you know, whatever. She's like, no, you're not. You're sitting there screwing off. And actually, I'm preparing for the show when I'm going back in here. But
I mean, some people would say you have to screw off to prepare for this show.
Pretty much. But seriously, it shouldn't be up to one dude in Maine, for crying out loud, to compile this list.
No,
right?
It shouldn't.
I mean, especially, it'd be one thing if we were like, viewership's about to go down because I'm going to piss them all off. It'd be one thing if we were like, for you, if you send us your results for $100, we'll read them off.
Some places do that. We're not one of those places.
We don't even charge 15 cents in Mexican change, for crying out loud.
15 pesos?
That's even less. I mean, send us your stuff.
There is a Pizza Patron in Kyle now, though.
Is that right?
Yeah. Greasy food. The one in Austin takes pesos. I don't know about the one in Kyle.
Did you call me a greaser?
No.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. My face is kind of greasy after the coda. A little hot out there this weekend, but so let's go through these. I mean, let's kind of hit it. Let's hit it here. Let's do the local stuff. Let's go to I-37. We were talking about the trucks right there with Jared winning that one. Greg Dinsmore in the modifieds, limited modifieds. Jared Maupin, so 2 wins for him on the night. Johnny Torres once again in the factory stocks, backing up the win. Brandon McCall in the sport compacts, and how about about Johnny Torres? I've talked to a lot of folks that some of the regional folks, after Johnny wins over there at the race we were at Texana, it's like, man, I totally underestimated Johnny Torres. I'm like, you must be new to the sport.
Yeah, right.
Because the dude wins a lot.
He might be new to factory stocks, but he's not new to fast race cars.
Yeah, he was new to winning that big money race that more people should have shown up for, and he came on this show and said that more people should have shown up for, which I thought was super classy. But yeah, winning is nothing new to him. So another win right there. So JT off to a really good start. Castaneda will hold off on that because here coming up in about 4 minutes, we're going to talk to one of the winners right there. How about the Race Ranch Limited Modifieds? One of our good friends, JJ Jennings, winning. Daniel Preston in the factory stocks. We'll hold off on that because we're going to talk to him. Pure stocks, EJ Gilpin, Micro Mods, James Parks III, and then Dustin Rude in the Dwarf Car Racing Series of Texas.
That's a dude that's on fire. That dude runs his ass off in that dwarf car.
Ain't nobody going to beat that guy. Nobody can.
I'm already priming the mic and ready to go for Texana.
Just give it to him. Ain't nobody gonna beat him. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge to all you dwarf car guys. Go out there and beat him because you ain't gonna beat him. 105 Speedway. Limited Modifieds, Corey Neal Jr., factory stock, Kyle Cummings. That's a name that you often see there at 105. In the street stocks, it was Jake McNaughton, I believe it is. Doug Watson in the micros. The mini stocks, Greg Board. I like what they did with the cop stocks and all that right there.
That was very. It got a lot. I found it on. Obviously, we saw it on the 105 page, and then we saw it shared with some of our Houston area friends. But I saw that on some police association page from like Mississippi. Because you get like awesome. You get like suggested post on Facebook, and it was like it was on like a police officers association deal in Mississippi that was like, hey, check out this cool deal, the street racing and the cops.
I love it.
And they put those cars together pretty quick. I like the neon lights and the neon lights underneath there and the red and blues up on the top.
No, really good stuff. Let's go to Cotton Bowl. Cotton Bowl, and good job by Cotton Bowl. I know they had some problems there. I think they had electrical stuff or something that kind of delayed everything for them to get fired off. Chris Morris in the modifieds, ain't nobody going to beat him.
No, especially that brand new car. Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. Even though, 12, 13 cars. Well, bring as many as you want. They ain't gonna beat him. IMCA Sport Mods. Heath Stewart smoking. Heath Stewart winning. Good for him there. That dude has a knack for winning on opening night. I know he would wax my ass in the street stocks on opening night, time after time. IMCA Stock Cars. GW Egbert, Donald Kane in the factory stocks. Brandon Spreen in the street stocks. Sport Compacts. It was John DeWitt winning right there. It looked like another great. Season opener. Good job for Cotton Bowl to be able to to be able to avoid all the mess right there. But really good stuff right there. As we had an action-packed Saturday, action-packed weekend of stuff happening around the state of Texas, and we're diving in because we're about to talk to one of the winners as well as we go up north. We're like high school football. Now we go up north as we go to Kennedale, a weekly racing firing off right there. Another friend of the show, winner in the Sport Mods. It is our man, Jeff Shepperd. How we doing, Mr. Jeff?
Good. How are y'all doing today?
Doing well, my friend. Doing well. Not as well as you, man. How's it feel to fire off right there and get you one right out of the box?
It feels really good. You know, we tried our luck at the tour. We went the first night to Kennedale and broke a motor, which was heartbreaking. But we got old Russ Fletcher got us fixed up and we're good to go. We basically started Friday night at Heart of Texas. Started on back of the heat race, no point average. Got a second place in that. Started 10th in the feature and made our way to second, really trying to pass the leaders, but the caution come out and we restarted and ran third. So really good opening night for us. And went to KSP and won our heat race and led every lap of the feature. So we feel like we're about where we were at the end of last year. We feel like everything is headed in a good direction for the season so far.
So, Jeff, it seems like I love the ecosystem that they have up at Kennedale because it's kind of in its own it's in its own box, but yet you get a lot of guys that travel there, and you get a lot of the guys from Kennedale that travel outside of there. Most of them to Heart of Texas, some of them to Boyd and stuff like that. What makes that atmosphere so unique up there at Kennedale? Is it because there's always the threat that the city council is going to come in and shut it down, and everybody's trying to get everything they can get while they can, or what makes that atmosphere so unique up there?
I really don't know about that part of it. I know they got a curfew, and I know they've probably had some hurdles with that stuff. But I'll be honest with you, I spoke to one of the owners, I guess, Saturday night about this. The atmosphere at Kennedale is different than any track I go to. And Waco's my home track. It's right down the road from my house.
Yep.
But everybody at Kennedale has a smile on their face. They're always high and by. I mean, from the front gate to the tech shed, whether you're good or bad.
Yeah.
I mean, just everybody that works the track, the guys in the infield, everybody there. They're just, it's crazy friendly. The track is generally 2 grooves every night, which is, for the racer, probably the most important thing. I mean, their concession stands are awesome, bathrooms, everything about the facility is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to toot their horn too much, but that's what it is. I mean, it's just a great place to go.
Yeah.
Waco is also wonderful. We, like I said, it's our home track. We love it. But Kennedale is just, it's just, they've got everything right.
Yeah.
So,
and
there's,
go ahead,
35 cars every night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that too. Yeah.
You've got to earn it.
Right, and isn't that the thing right there? I mean, with both those tracks, I mean, it really is. I mean, you get so many tracks where on a big show, they're going to nail a shitload of cars. I mean, whatever the case may be, but it really does seem like with Kennedale and with Waco, I mean, you've got loyal fans that show up every time. I mean, it doesn't matter. The weather can be horrible. They're going to show up if the racing's going on. Same thing with the racers. I mean, they are locked and loaded. They just want to be a part of that. I mean, that's really what local racing is all about. Short track racing is all about.
It is. I mean, and like you say, I mean, Waco struggles a little bit on Friday night, especially this time of year and very end of the year with, Friday night football, Friday night baseball. That's why I don't race every Friday night. My son's in, baseball right now. He'll be in that for another 5-6 weeks. And then, luckily he graduates this year, but so we won't have the end of the year messed up for the big shows and stuff like we did last year. But,
yeah.
So they struggle a little bit there and a little bit from cars coming out of town. They try to start 8:30 to help, but they struggle a little bit there with car count and fan count, even, I think, during this time of year. But, midsummer, man, it's packed and it's great. But, Kennedale, as far as car count, sport mods, I guarantee they probably average 32 cars, 33 cars on any given night. But they do that in most all their classes. Factory stocks are 35, 40 cars. Their stock car division is huge, Now they're doing the eco mods, I think, pretty much every night. The junior limiteds at both tracks are 18, 19 cars, and
yeah.
I mean, it's just great that they're averaging that many cars every night.
That's right.
So Jeff, talk about your GRC car, your generation there with Justin. How did I forget Justin Long's name there for just a second?
Come on,
he gonna be mad at me now.
You're fired.
Now he's gonna be mad. Yeah, now he's gonna be mad at y'all.
I know he's gonna get mad. Talk about that car. Is it the same one, or is it? Did you get a new one, or is it the same one?
No, this is the same one. Actually, I got started kind of later in the year last year after football was over.
Yeah.
Or for the most part, I started racing some on Saturday nights during football, but I kind of got started later in the year. I think I've only got had about 16 races on that thing last year, and we won 11 of those, 12 of those total. But same car. We took it all apart, cleaned it up, checked everything, straightened everything, new body wrap, all that stuff on it. Got my sponsors looking good and for taking care of me. And Justin has helped me even this year, get things advance a little bit, in our program. We're trying some new stuff and it's just really working. I mean, just everything we try, it seems like, well, that's just a little bit better. And so I can't thank Justin and Generation Race Cars, the guys there in the shop, more. I can't thank them any more than that. They're awesome. Like I say, Russ Fletcher's new to me. I had motor trouble last year in the middle of the year, and Justin stepped up and loaned me a motor. And Russ Fletcher has kind of come on board and really just opened my eyes, with this whole deal, and it's been awesome so far. So we look forward to keeping that going with Fletcher Motorsports and I say all the guys that helped me on my race car.
Yeah, no doubt. So what is the plan for you this year? I mean, obviously between the two tracks right there with Waco and Kennedale, kind of, it sounds like you have two home tracks, and there's nothing wrong with that. But so what all are you going to be able to do? I mean, I know chasing the big money shows and all that gets really hard. But I think for a lot of guys, just having one or two home tracks, I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, like this week, we've got a baseball game Friday evening, so we're going to shoot for making the race, making the A main, starting on the back, last, and see how that goes Friday night. If we make it, we may not make it if they run early in the night, just depends on rotation of the schedule, but if not, we, at this moment, we plan on going back to KSP. And like I say, our first night up there, we didn't make it out of the B main. We had motor trouble, didn't make it out of the B main, so I have it's not necessarily a fun thing to say, but I have a bad point average, even though I won this week.
Right.
Still, that one bad finish is going to kind of help me for the first few weeks, until we get a good point average up there, which I hope comes pretty quick. And so we can, race through there and earn it like everybody, needs to. And Waco, like I say, I started 10th, and finished third. So we've got a pretty decent point average there going into this week. And so those two tracks we're going to focus on mostly. Like I say, Friday nights are going to be kind of hit or miss for the next 6-7 weeks. And then, I have a hard time committing to 2 nights a week. I've got kids, grandkids, and tons of stuff going on that we're trying to be involved with as much as possible. So we're going to run those shows. We're going to run the big shows at both those tracks. And then at the end of the year, we're going to venture around and see what shows we can make, and hopefully not have to miss the Friday night portions of all those like we did last year, and kill ourselves on Saturday to try to get in and make it, and luckily win. So
no, I totally get that. Yeah, no doubt.
Hey Jeff, when are you going to talk Justin to getting back in the wheel behind one of these things? I mean, obviously he's the head man in charge, but he's got to get some seat time, doesn't he?
As much as he talks about us, it's fixing to be his turn, and we get to criticize him a little bit about what he should have done. But he takes it real well. So I think he's probably pretty close. I don't know, but I'm hearing that he's pretty close. So
man,
we're gonna go say I'm gonna have to follow him a little bit so I can race with him, and and that way we can.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I think Alex won in Letitia again this weekend too. Yeah, so it's right there. The
Alex,
competition.
He won with another win. Southern Oklahoma Speedway. Started way back. So I think started 12th place, and battling for the lead right there on the very last lap, and just one of those bad racing deals kind of thing. Yeah. But still managed it in Tech to take home the win, and I mean that's fastest legal car, so you gotta respect that. And but yeah, Alex he's crazy fast, and we didn't get to race together very much last year, just mostly different shows kind of, but I'm looking forward to that. We're just trying to, we're not really even racing against each other. We're trying to race with each other to make the whole program better, so.
Yep. No doubt. Well done, my man. Way to get fired off. Look forward to following you there at Waco and Kennedale. Keep racking them up, man. GRC, nothing wrong with that. Keep it rolling, my friend. Love to see the wins.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Us too, and we appreciate everything y'all do for our sport and for us. And it's what makes it go around is having guys like y'all take the extra step to get us out there and get our sport out there.
You got it, man. Appreciate it. We'll do it again soon, man. Take care, and good luck the next couple of weeks.
All right, sir. Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
You bet, man. Take care.
Yes, sir.
You bet. There he goes, Jeff Shepperd, winning in fine fashion there at KRP, and I love that conversation because it really is. I mean, with these tracks, I mean, with the weekly tracks, those that's a hard pill. That's a hard pill, and both of those tracks, KRP and Hot. I mean, they do well, man, and they've got the folks that keep coming time after time, and that's old school, man. That is very old school.
I think that it has a really good program there at Kennedale. It's big. When you win at Kennedale, you win some special trophies there. Not just because they're nice trophies, but really, like he said, when you win at Kennedale, you win. Right?
That's right.
You beat a hell of a good car count and a hell of a lot of good guys from North Texas. So it's winning there is no joke, and he sometimes makes it look really easy.
Yeah. He really does. He really does. Jeff Shepperd, winner at Kennedale this past weekend. Double dipping right there at Heart of Texas. And like you said, he will be trying to get to Heart of Texas on Friday, depending. Maybe he'll make it, maybe he won't. And ain't nothing wrong with that. You gotta like to want to right there. Stick around. We still are going to talk to Mason Castaneda. And yes, we will talk about some IndyCar at Texas Motor Speedway because we like Indy cars.
That's right. And we love our friends at Texas Motor Speedway, too.
Absolutely. Stick around. More coming up. # Real Race Talk on your Monday. It is a Revved Up Sports Show.
Have you heard about the latest and greatest technology being built around the DFW area? Generation Race Cars and JL Racing, located in Springtown, Texas, are now offering top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art Southern Sport mods and limited modifieds. Generation Race Cars and JL Racing can provide new cars, turnkey, complete bodies, shock revalving, and chassis updates, along with providing trackside setup guidance and a whole lot more. If you're looking at competing at a whole new level, call 817-528-2947 and ask for Justin today. You can contact them through the JL Racing Facebook page to learn more about Generation Race Cars. You put a ton of effort into your race program. Now take it to victory lane with GRC.
Hey, you guys, lots of series and lots of different classes around along the coast, Texas, wherever. You can run those GM performance parts and those GM crate engines. I'm here to tell you about my friends at Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet. They're in Mississippi, Brandon, Mississippi, as a matter of fact. They are your number one supplier for those GM performance parts and those crate engines. They're going to best prices that you're going to find. That's 602-5497. The 604 that the late models are looking for, $7,460. Yes, $7,460. That is the bottom line price out the door, and they will hook you up with those motors. They have them in stock, and they will set you up when you need them. They sell those GM motors to help support racing around the country, and they help us at Mobile International Speedway with a lot of that money going back into the purse. We helped them sell engines because they are putting that money back into the racers. A very cool thing right there with Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet in Brandon, Mississippi. Check them out. You can contact Gina Shile-Knowles, as a matter of fact, from the Gulf Coast Racing Series, 713-907-0906, and she will hook you up with those great folks right there. Benny, all of the guys at Rogers Dabbs, man, I tell you, super cool dudes. I got to hang out with them at the Rattler, and they like to have a good time. They love short track racing, and they love helping out short track racers around the country. All of your GM performance parts, Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet. It is RogersDabbsChevrolet.com. Look them up, and they will hook you up with those GM performance parts.
Have you heard about the latest and greatest technology being built around the DFW area? Generation Race Cars and JL Racing, located in Springtown, Texas, are now offering top-of-the-line, state-of-the-art Southern Sport mods and limited modifieds. Generation Race Cars and JL Racing can provide new cars, turnkey, complete bodies, shock revalving, and chassis updates, along with providing trackside setup guidance and a whole lot more. If you're looking at competing at a whole new level, call 817-528-2947 and ask for Justin today. You can contact them through the JL Racing Facebook page to learn more about Generation Race Cars. You put a ton of effort into your race program. Now take it to victory lane with GRC.
Everybody, welcome back Good music right there. Especially,
Nice selection.
Especially blended for the Revved Up Sports Show.
That's almost as good as Ty Henderson on Saturdays.
I'm not near as good as that dude.
And it's royalty free. That's what makes that specially blended.
That's right. We'll be dancing like this this weekend at Mobile International Speedway. Free pit party on Friday night as the SRL National Tour heads for the Davidson Electric 125. Big thanks to Chris Davidson and all of the folks right there. 15K to win for the super late models as they head over. I know we've got a little bit of double action happening right there. And again, that's, I know there's a race at Cordele and all of that. I totally get it. And I actually don't get it because we kind of had our race on the schedule there for a while, and now it's a double dipping thing. And now we're into a bitchin' match between the two series, and we're into a streaming war and all of this where we were hoping to unite a national tour, and what we've done is got into a deeper pissing match than we were in before. And to me, it's a fucking shame. Is the only way I can say it on this show.
That's right. You can't do it on another one.
I can do it on here because this is ours, and we do whatever the hell we want. And for the goal, the ultimate goal for me, and for I think for all promotions, or I know for our side, I hate to be our side versus their side, was it needs to be something that's a win-win for everybody, a win-win for the racers, a win-win for the fans, a win-win for the folks that can't get there. Now folks are put on two different things of, am I going to watch this? Am I going to watch this? Am I going here? Am I going there? And that sucks. And I think that's something that we see on the local. I was looking at this, Bobby, this past weekend. I mean, going through the list here with Phil, looking when you have Cotton Bowl and you have 37 and you have South Texas. The good thing about that is, I mean, all of these folks, for the most part, are on good terms to where they work together and try to make all of this happen together. But that's not the case with the super late model thing, and I think the ultimate loser is a fan, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah, I think that when you have to make somebody make the decision on where they're going to go and what they're going to watch, when it's people are even racing fans, their stuff is becoming a little bit more fine-tuned, right? We talked about it with our buddy Mitch Kendra there on the ATX show when we were talking about the Supercross stuff being streamed exclusively on Peacock.
Yeah.
And he put it best. He says, your fans are going to find the product.
Yep.
Your true fans are going to find the product. The problem is now you got an opportunity here where there could be two streamers battling against each other. It's hard to switch between two streamers. It's one thing to switch from watching a race at Texana on Saturday night on Race on Texas to watching another race there at I-37. That's an easy switch back and forth till you get to the right main events you want to follow the drivers you want. But it's a difference between, switching from Racing America all the way over to Speed Sport, back and forth. That's a lot to do. And unfortunately, you're putting your hardcore race fans in a bind because your hardcore race fans, there's 4 or 5 drivers that move that needle in super late model racing, and they're under the gun because they keep getting pulled in a million directions.
Oh.
I somewhat feel bad for those 4 or 5 guys because of the fact that they are wanted with open armed in 2 places, and I don't know how they're going to be at 2 places at one time.
And that's the whole thing. I've reached out to a few a few very predominant ones that are like, I want to be in both places, and there are and I'll be transparent. I mean, there are many that want to race with us, and but I get it. I mean, I totally get it. I just and the whole thing is, I mean, it sucks for the fans as well. I mean, the fans that can't be at either place because here's the whole thing. I mean, Racing America is a very it's a very cost-effective way to be able to watch subscriber events. I mean, it's $12.99, and the whole. Speed Sport Pit Road TV is as well. And hell, if I go on much longer, I may not be on the broadcast this week. But it's very it's cost-effective as well. But the whole thing is, where folks need to think about this is, you shouldn't have to have 2.
There should have been more. What is it? Farsight, or what is it? Forthright.
Yeah. And the whole thing is, there needs to be It doesn't need to be, I hate to say a pissing match, but it doesn't need to be that. It doesn't need to be that. But I will tell you this. I have been on the part of, and Saturday's going to come about, and if you're a super late model fan, you're going to have to figure out which one you want to watch, or if you want to attempt to watch them both, or whatever the case is. I can tell you one thing: the tracks, Cordele and Mobile. There was a concerted effort right there to try to figure out a happy median in there to make it work to where these events could coincide. But there were a lot of factors that did not allow that, and that's back to where when I get on my soapbox about, and we'll get Mason on the line. Mason, if you're listening, just stand by. Give me a minute. If this is where we go back to where the tracks are doing what they need to do, but at the same time, it's the outside factors that need to help right there, because the tracks want to do well by the fan. The tracks both want the fans to be able to be a part of both events, because I really think if these events weren't on top of each other, you would have two badass events. And
you'd have the opportunity to have two complete shows.
Dude, I can tell you one thing. I've watched a lot of super late model racing over the years, and I can tell you that Rattler 250 was badass. I mean, take the fact out that I was there, that was a badass race. That could have been nobody calling that event. That was good. And the bad thing is, both, in my opinion, both sanctioning bodies are going to suffer because, boom, here we go. The people that count, the fans and the drivers, have to choose what they're going to do.
That's right. You're dividing the fan base, which you can't do, and you can't. You're dividing the fan base. You're dividing the racers. That's not what they intended to do, and unfortunately, right out of the box, second race of the season, it's already happening.
There you go. It's already happened. It has already happened. More on that later. We'll talk about the IndyCars. I know Rusty wants to hear about that. We'll give some IndyCar insight as they head to TMS. Going back to the hotline for the final time tonight, and love it when we get first time drivers on here talking about really cool things that they're doing, and a big win this weekend at South Texas Speedway for the young man jumping on for the first time this evening. It is Mr. Mason Castaneda. How we doing, my man?
I'm doing great. How y'all guys doing?
Doing well, sir. Doing well. Thank you for taking the time and jumping on with us. So
he's just happy he gets to say your name, Mason. That's all.
That's right.
He's just totally happy about that.
And when people say Castaneda, I'm like, come on, man, get it right.
That's how I say it. What the hell? And when he's taking a checkered flag, he don't care what I call him.
That's right.
That's all that matters is the checkered flag.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep, exactly.
So walk us through it, dude. That seemed like one hell of a damn. What's the best way to put that? Quite the main event that you guys put on there at the race ranch.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't all what it was supposed to be. I mean, I didn't like all the wrecks happening, but I just tried to keep myself out of trouble, and I really didn't know what was going on around me until after the fact. And I saw the two leaders wreck, and before that restart, I saw some of the 30 cars, saw a spring fly out of his car, and he had stuff falling out of his car, to say the least. And I was kind of scared. I didn't know what was going to happen, if he was going to break, and I was going to get stuck and get past, or what was going to happen. But, man, he took off and got faster than I thought he was going to be, and then he kind of jumped away from me there for a minute. And then when I rolled him back in, I went to the outside, and I hope for the best, and I got a good run, and Memphis just happened to bobble once and let me get by and get back to the bottom.
Yeah.
So, Mason, let's talk about your progression as a racer. If I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, you started out in like an E-mod type of racer and then kind of moved along in a couple of different classes. Talk about your progression up here, because there's still a lot of hot and heavy action coming up here in the factory stocks in Central and South Texas. So talk about how you eventually got to where you are in this factory stock deal.
Yeah, in 2014, I got my parents bought me an E-mod, and I raced that for a couple of years and jumped into the pure stocks when they were pure stocks, and then raced out for a couple of years. Then I jumped into a sport mod, and then I raced out for a couple of years, and then I jumped back into a factory stock here last year.
Yeah. So Mason, with the factory stocks, I mean that right there is a hot and heavy class. I mean, talk about each and every time that you head to the racetrack, you are dealing with high caliber talent right there, yourself included. Racing in that class, what is that like?
Man, it's awesome. I mean, it's like we only had 9 cars, but I mean, basically any of the 9 could have won Saturday, and it's crazy how good the competition is in Corpus alone, and then you venture out to Pleasanton or Edna, and everywhere there's competition. I mean, anybody can win on any given night. But it's awesome. It's good to see too as well.
And so in terms of the atmosphere at South Texas at the race ranch there on Saturday night, the news that the place was bought. Owen's been on here talking about it is going to be status quo. I mean, did the racers feel any different? Did y'all notice anything different, or was it the same thing as just a normal, typical show there for the race ranch?
I mean, it felt like a typical. I mean, it was opening night, of course, but it felt like a typical Saturday night. It's a good atmosphere, and you know, it is good to know that someone bought the track, and there is a good future, long future for the track. That's good to know.
Yeah. So Mason, I would love your thoughts. I mean, we were talking earlier, the first part of the show with, I mean, you hate it when people start getting tore up and bad things happen on the racetrack, but the fact that Owen has kind of nipped that in the bud right there, and he's saying, we're not going to allow stuff to get tore up. I think that's something really cool for you guys that are out there, you know, busting your hump to be out there racing each and every time.
Yeah, it's good to see. I mean, it's not good to tear up cars intentionally, and it's good that happened and Owen put his foot down. But you know, it's man, I don't like getting into stuff like that. So it's,
no, I get it.
Yeah, it's none of my business, but yeah, it's a good thing that he did what he did.
Yeah.
See, we tried to be nice the whole time since it was your first time.
Mason's like, I don't care. He's like, I don't care. I won. I don't give a damn what he does with the rest.
Yeah. He wasn't yelling at me. The Facebook post wasn't about me.
That's
so
right.
Talk about this Facebook stuff from a racer's standpoint. We know that it sometimes will get under a promoter's skin and stuff like that. When you see somebody bash the track in general, and it usually over something stupid like a cold hot dog or too many jalapenos on the nachos or something like that. As a racer, when you want to support your home track, does that kind of stuff piss you off?
Oh yeah, of course it does. I mean, they don't see the hard work, you know, Owen, Ray, and Cord put in the time and during the week and getting the track ready, getting the concession ready. I mean, just Saturday alone. I mean, at 3:00 you walk up to the concession stand, you watch Owen and his crew just getting the concession stands ready and just getting ready for the night, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a thing. A great point right there. People don't think about that. So talk about that. They're with Owen. I mean, let's talk. Taking everything that I just mentioned a while ago. Him, you know, with the race ranch. You know, racing in Corpus Christi. To me, I think that's one of the best places that you're going to find short track racing. That really is a cool thing that he does right there to give you guys such a great facility to race at.
Yes, sir, for sure. I mean, he gives us good tracks, and some people like them that night, some people don't. I mean, people have their opinions about the track, but overall, it's a great facility, and man, I love racing there. I'm glad to call it my home track.
So, you gonna come see me this weekend in Edna, or are you gonna stick to the race ranch?
Man, are they racing this weekend?
Yes, sir. April 1st. Gates open. Gates open at 6. Racing starts at 7.
Oh, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do. if they're racing here, I'll probably race here. But if not, I might venture up there.
I love it. Mason, talk about all the great folks that do this with you. I mean, a family effort. I mean, that's really what this is all about. Talk about all the great people that support you and just kind of keep this thing real.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my stepdad. His name's Jimbo. My mom, of course, my girlfriend, my dad, my Uncle Eddie, my cousin Ramsey. There's a lot of people. Give me a second.
No, you're good. Take your time.
My buddy Eric Ramos, he's a big help in my program. Memphis Varial, he helps me out a lot. He's behind the scenes and he gives me a lot of tips and tidbits he hears. You know, he's in the NASCAR now, so he's big time. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of people behind me, and probably some I didn't mention. And I'm grateful for him and grateful for my sponsors, Ace Transmission, Ace Automotive, Leger Motorsports, Swinson Racing Components, TJ Mechanical, All In Designs. Might be forgetting one. Express Race Cars, and there's a lot of people that, like I said, you probably didn't mention, and they have a helping hand in my program.
That's right.
You'll get better at it. Don't worry. You'll get better at it. Now, the one thing, from our experience interviewing a lot of racers and all that, when you went down the running list of everybody that you got to thank, you only said you wanted to thank your girlfriend. You didn't name her by name. We have found it's been our experience that when you name the girlfriend's name, that it makes them feel better, and therefore they're going to let you go out and race even more than what you are now.
Oh, okay. I'll let thank my girlfriend Megan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, be sure and say the right name. that's a whole thing. No, man. Well,
it happens. You'd be surprised.
Yes. Very, very well done, my friend. I know yesterday, so I messaged Mason. He's like, I'm not sure. Maybe get somebody else. I'm like, no, dude, you won. We want to talk to you. So really, really great stuff, man. Glad what you did right there. Congratulations. Go rack some more of these up, and good job, dude. You done a damn good job,
did
brother.
Good for your first time on the show.
Very good job. Very good job.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all, and I thank y'all for what y'all guys do for racing.
You got it, man. Take care. We'll do it again soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You bet.
Bye.
There he goes, Mason Castaneda. I love that right there.
So it's not Castaneda, Castaneda?
Castaneda.
Neda.
You have to kind of roll that in a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Yesterday, he's like, I don't know. I messaged him coming right out of Coda, and he's like, I'm not sure. I'm like, no, come on, man. Nothing to it. I said, you know.
But at least he listens to the show. That's a good sign.
Yeah, no doubt. Good stuff right there.
Nothing like the time Brandon Bentley had to follow Mario Andretti that day.
Oh, my goodness. How about that?
No pressure on Brandon that day.
A couple of legends right there doing all of that stuff. But good stuff right there. And again, we go back to, and I love the way he took the high road right there with whatever may have happened with that. And again, I think that's super important and a precedent that should be followed. With racetracks nipping that thing in the bud right there to where it's like we're not going to allow whatever happens. And how about that right there for him? I mean, when he talks about Memphis, you get out there, you beat Villarreal in one of these cars. I don't care what the surface is. Yeah, you've accomplished something, and I've watched Mason for a couple of years right there, and he has progressed and he's done really well. And I mean, I just love the level-headedness and again, this kind of goes back to me with the Corpus guys. I mean, you get so many of the racers there out of the Corpus area to where you have the youngsters that get in there and they bide their time and here you go. I mean, they do really cool things, and Mason's another one of them.
Yeah, I think that he fits into that good mold down there in Corpus. We've mentioned it before about how the racers in Corpus are kind of their own unique animal, and its own unique ecosystem down there. But by leaps and bounds, he's definitely found his niche in there to fit in with all the good guys down there, and he's slowly but surely making the progress that he needs to make to become one of the big players down there.
Yeah, and again, that conversation there, I got a couple of texts there asking about on my phone, asking about what the deal is with the South Texas Race Ranch thing right there. Owen Pittman issuing a fine to a car. The number 139. We're not sitting here naming names or doing any of that stuff. Going to be thrown out for 2 races and fined $200. That's going to the other car that was involved right there. If that said driver chooses not to pay that fine, which happens a lot of times, they're not coming back in the gate. I mean, they're thrown out for good, and that's again that's one of those things of putting the foot down, and we need to see more of that. And it's one of those things where we go back and for all the folks that frown on NASCAR, we watched it yesterday to where you got guys running over each other and all that, but we see a lot of local guys emulating what they see on Sunday that they may not be watching, but it's like come on,
not claiming to watch.
Come on.
Did you see the Jensen Button thing? talking about how he got completely run over and he's never been.
I heard Jordan Taylor.
Jordan Taylor said that too.
He's pissing and moaning about, I got hit so many times. I'm like, oh, okay, well, go back to sports cars. I mean, this is what we do here. And here's the other thing. I've gotten a lot of messages today where it's like, oh man, that was a crash fest. I mean, these guys running over each other. I'm like,
yeah, that's what people want.
Right. It's like, okay, you don't want them to not hit each other, but they hit each other too much. Pick your poison.
Don't get me started.
Well, I'm gonna get it started because there's a lot of times when you go to a Saturday night short track race and it's like over and over and over and over, yellow flag. I mean, when asphalt was wearing away, it's going away. Dirt's cheaper. They don't crash as much. All this other stuff. I've been going to the dirt track for what? When did the asphalt close? 2016.
2016, yeah.
Been going to the dirt track since then. Y'all wreck just as damn much as the asphalt. And a lot of times it takes longer to clean this shit up than that. So it's the same thing. And that's where we go back to with NASCAR has gone in the shitter. Short track racing is a lot different. And the one thing that I don't care if you're pavement or dirt, you're going to run each other over.
It happens.
That does not change.
It's the way we race now.
Absolutely. The respect. Here's the one thing that I'll go back to. I tweeted this yesterday. When I'm sitting there watching the 45 and the 24 car race yesterday, those guys, they leaned on each other a little bit, but they were doing crossover moves and doing all this stuff.
And didn't touch. Very little touch.
They would touch, but that happens. That right there was the best example. I tweeted out, young racers, even old ones, play that over and over and over. That's how you do it. That's how you do it right there.
Well, that's how it's supposed to work. It's not a demo derby. Not supposed to be.
Well, and on the race yesterday, I heard him saying, well, William Byron's won a couple of races. He's not going to run over the 45 because he's locked in the playoffs. No, he's not going to run over the 45 because he has respect for that guy. And that's...
Even Chase Elliott was happy to see it yesterday on the broadcast.
Respect, guys, respect. That's all that, if somebody has a line, I'll be damn, it's okay to let them have it. At some point, you may be able to get it back. But that's the whole thing is, man, let's bonsai this thing. And that's the whole thing when I went back. That was the coolest thing for me watching the Rattler a couple of weeks ago was watching two consummate professionals, Bubba Pollard and Ty Majeski. Those guys just racing wheel to wheel, giving each other a little bit of space, kind of leaning on each other every now and then, but ain't no need to put nobody in the fence for the wrong reason. Sometimes it happens. That's the lost art. If I could write a book about racing right now, it would be the lost art called respect. And I don't care what level you're at. I don't care if you're in a what do they call the sport compacts, or if you're in a modified, if you're in a cup car. The lost art is respect. It's okay to have that.
Maybe I have to add that to my chapter of my book.
Write it. Give me a footnote or whatever it's called.
An acknowledgement in front? Or
something like that. Good stuff. By the way, the Cars Tour with yet another phenomenal event as they fire off. Carson Kvapil wins in that Cars Tour, man. I'm impressed that the Cars Tour has gone mainstream, but they're still small time. They still... It was a junior motorsports car that wins that race, but they're still very much a centralized smaller series. 32 cars. They're doing something right. I love the late model stocks, man. I would love to see a late model stock.
That race at North Wilkesboro is going to be fun,
dude.
The last time the race at North Wilkesboro, it was much better than the super late model race. Them late model stocks are going to put on a show that week of All-Star race there at North Wilkesboro.
And they'll race again on April 27th as they head to historic Hickory for the next Cars Tour event. Fun to talk to Jacqueline yesterday. It was, her kind of moving up with everything she's doing, still with those Cars Tour roots and all that. Really, really, really proud of that girl. Doing a good job.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun getting to see her in person. That's actually
Well,
like
that
the first
didn't hurt.
time I got to meet her in person too. After working with her so over these years on this show and some of the other shows, so
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun. She did an outstanding job yesterday. I know she was nervous about the driver introductions, but I thought she did just fine.
Well, I'll guarantee you one thing. We're going to podcast what she talked about, and really good stuff right there. Very motivational. If you like to be motivated, what she talked about was really cool. Looking at this weekend as we head over, you got the late models, the crate late models. They'll have a double dip right there at Heart of Texas Speedway, as Kaden talked about. He'll be there on Friday night, and then they head over to Cotton Bowl Speedway.
The Civil War, North versus
dude.
the South. That ought to be one hell of a show.
I'm here to tell you those late models at Cotton Bowl. Woo! That's a super speedway race right there.
Because those are 604s, right?
Mm-hmm.
604 crates. Ooh,
Mhm.
damn, that's gonna be good.
If you need one, Rogers Dabbs Chevrolet. Message me. I'll hook you up. I'll get you the best price. Devil's Bowl Speedway, World of Outlaws, factory stocks, limited modifieds, kind of not quite the grip that we had before with the World of Outlaws, but heading to Devil's Bowl, and you have to think about that. I mean, I wish that they were at CBS, but if they had to go somewhere, I think Devil's Bowl is kind of the place that they're going to de facto
Well,
go
that's
to.
their home.
Yep.
Original base. So yeah, they always they have to take an obligatory trip to Devil's Bowl.
Talking earlier about Southern Oklahoma Speedway Touring Outlaw Modified Series, we'll head there as well this weekend. That right there is going to be quite the show. As I was talking to Phil. Again, Phil doing all of this for us, and it shouldn't be up to him. He said we need to include Southern Oklahoma Speedway. I'm like, dude, I have no problem with Oklahoma.
No.
Let's do it.
John Webb and them are really good people. We need to get John Webb on to talk about his racetrack,
Yeah, man.
Southern Oklahoma Speedway, and then we also need to get him to talk about his old TIDA days.
Oh, that's right. Good point. We do need
John
to do that.
Webb. John Webb be a good guy to come on here.
Yep. Phil, get him. Hook him up. Do it to it. We talked about also, I do want to talk about Texana before we go to the asphalt. So I know the trucks are going to be there, the Dwarf Car Racing Series of Texas, all of that for night number 2. Actually, the opening night right there, presented by Magnum with Cole or Cord and all them doing all of that. Your thoughts right there. I'm hoping that place is jam-packed. Texana needs a big opening night.
Well, the good news is that even though the car count wasn't where it should have been for the Clash, the racing was very good.
Yeah, it was.
In all the classes. So I think that's going to bode well. The crowds got to see a really good show. I'm anticipating we're really close to the same car count and even close to the same fan count there. So it'll be interesting to see the trucks in person. I got to see some of the highlights of their race there at I-37. So I-37's racing this weekend too, so that could kind of pull different racers in different directions where they may have gone somewhere else if they weren't on top of each other. But we all know, we talk about it here, there's only so many dates to go around. And so I think that Texana should be fun. I'm going to be there and I'm hoping it'll be a good show. It's not usually a crash fest down there anyway, so I'm hoping to see a lot of good car counts and there's a lot of stuff happening.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good stuff right there. And lastly, the doubleheader, you've got the SRL National Tour heading to Mobile for the Davidson Electric 125 and the ASA Stars Tour heading to Cordele as they will embark on their second event of the year. And again, there's your Civil War going on. Hopefully there's enough for all of that. And whatever, I think I've made my opinion clear on all that. But
somehow, some way, it may end up working itself out, but I doubt it.
it ain't gonna work out. I mean, there's been some rumblings about guys trying to do both, but that's going to be quite the thing to pull off. So I don't know. It defeating the purpose is what's happening right there. But really good program this evening, coming off of the COTA weekend, and again, super glad that we got a home race. Weird for me, we go to a NASCAR race and I'm home by 9:00. That was cool.
Oh man, I was home in 25 minutes.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. Really good stuff. Congratulations, all the racetracks able to get your racing in this weekend, and a full slate that we have going on as well. You can go to keep up with the page right here, and we'll let you know with all the stuff that's coming up this week as we get ready to roll once again. So, you excited? be back on the mic and rolling at the Texana?
I hope so. I'm not there quite yet, but I've got a couple of more days to get fired up and ready for it. So I'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine probably by Thursday. Oh yeah, Rusty. I'm sorry. Before we go, got to talk IndyCar. So let's talk IndyCar. So IndyCar at Texas Motor Speedway.
Unfortunately, we can't be there.
Yeah,
just due to pre-commitments that we made during the off season. We can't be at TMS. We talked to our friends over there at Speedway Motorsports and David Hart and some of the people there, the great folks at Texas Motor Speedway. And it just the schedule worked out where we just can't be there. We want to be there to support our friends and our local racers like Kaden Honeycutt. They're on Saturday, and we'd like to just be there for the outstanding race.
It's going to
happen there on Sunday, right? It's they moved the summer race into a more potentially likable end of March race, 1st of April. So
that's a good double.
That's helped out a lot.
That's a good double header right there. You get the trucks and IndyCar. I like the way that they've done that there with the SpeedyCash.com 225 and the PPG 375. I mean, that's a great double header right there. But with IndyCar, I mean, to me, Rusty mentioning that. IndyCar belongs on the ovals, and I totally get that a lot of the, I guess, cautionary stuff with the IndyCar series, NTT IndyCar series. It's dangerous. I mean, it's scary. I mean, I think that we have watched IndyCar move away from ovals because we have watched drivers that have lost their lives at those racetracks, and when you get them on tracks like TMS, I mean, with all the people that want to bitch about TMS, to me right now, TMS is very much an IndyCar track. I mean, because with all the PJ1 and everything, with the differences in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, the stock car just doesn't work there. But the truck does. I mean, because to me, the truck, Bobby, you said it best on our programming over the weekend at COTA. That big old thing trying to cut a hole in the air right there, it just does not work. So you put them out there at those speeds, and it kind of makes for havoc. And the trucks continually put on a great show out there. But to see the Indy cars on the oval, I guess you could call this maybe at this point the Indianapolis as a South. I mean, that's all we have left. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm glad that this is a multi-year agreement between NTT IndyCar Series, Penske, and TMS, because for both of those entities, where TMS is going to have that on the calendar and IndyCar will be on an oval like that, because IndyCar on ovals, man, that's a dying breed. And there
was a legitimate chance this race was not going to happen.
I know, and the whole thing is, this is every time that they come here, or every time they hit an oval, a high speed oval like this, I hold my breath. I'm like, God forbid something goes wrong on this, because it's one of those things where, something goes wrong and you're waiting for that shoe to drop, and it's like, okay, we're done. So it really is, the 375 kilometers of holding your breath and hoping nothing goes wrong, so that we do it again, because I love Indy cars on ovals. I mean, that's what I grew up watching. I'd love to see him at Phoenix. I'd love to see him.
I still want to see him at COTA first.
Well, they need to be back at COTA.
They need to run COTA, and then they need to, just like the trucks, they need to run COTA, and then they need to run TMS.
And the whole thing is with COTA, they had one race at COTA, and it was a home run, but there wasn't a way to be able to tie it all together to where they could come back. And I just think, and think about that for COTA's sake. If you had Formula One, NASCAR, and the Cup Series, Xfinity, and trucks, and IndyCar all in 1 year, dude, what in the hell?
Nowhere else can do that.
That's right.
Nowhere else can do that.
That's right. And it can happen. It can happen, but it's beyond our control.
And MotoGP. Let's not forget about MotoGP.
Well, that's right. And all the sports car stuff that comes up here. I mean, Ricky Brooks. I'm hanging out with the Ricky Brooks over there with the Trans Am Series. They come up in here. So, hey, we got NASCAR here. We did it, right?
It took a lot, but we finally got it.
We pulled it off with no money.
When all of our friends and colleagues there started coming on the airways on the horns and started mentioning there's rumblings of coming to Austin, we're like, just bring it.
Just bring it. Just bring it. Just come on. Come on, it can happen. And here we go. And I was talking to Bob Cole this morning, and I sound like Stu, but anyway. But so apparently there was a report this morning in the Statesman that NASCAR may not be back. I said, Bob, tickets are on sale right now, my man. He's like, well, the paper says this. I'm like, I don't give a damn what the paper says. They're coming back. Don't worry. It'll be back.
They have more of a chance to not race at TMS than they do to not race at COTA.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, they're not leaving COTA anytime soon.
No. It ain't going nowhere. Great program. Good stuff. Thank you, Kaden. Honeycutt, go win that race. Go to Texas. Do some kick-ass shit. He'll probably win in Waco Friday night.
That's good, too.
And have a hell of a run, I'm sure. And good job, Corey Roper. I love that for him.
That's really good. What's good for Kaden ends up being good for Corey. So that's right. That's a good team up right there.
Yep. And a good job to Advance Auto Parts and CarQuest for sticking with that team and pushing them out there and doing good stuff. Jeff Shepperd, a win at Kennedale. Dude's going to double up here one weekend pretty soon, I'm sure.
Won't take long.
Both home tracks. Mason Castaneda, good win at Corpus. Despite all the mess, 28 wins. Good stuff. We're back next Monday. You guys enjoy your week. Be safe. It is #Real Race Talk from Texas, the Revved Up Sports Show.